Right there, welcome back for another video. Today, this is episode 2 of Ryan's book club. I haven't uploaded the first video yet, so I haven't decided on a title. But this is a series where I like to talk about the books that I'm reading. Yeah, that's the let's cut to the point of it. If you did watch the first video, because I will upload it before this one, obviously there's a big difference. I've made a doorway, which is kind of annoying because I started this video series and I brought all my books that I've read and I put them all there on my display shelves so you could see the books that I've read. So, you know, I'm a legitimate reader. And then the next day I was like, I want a fucking doorway from my studio into the house. So I've videoed all this, by the way, making this doorway. It hasn't finished yet. But the problem is with this series, like, I can't stop myself reading. So if I waited for a proper moment to do this video, I'd have probably finished the book. So I am this far through. So I'd say about a quarter. I've just got to chapter 15 of The Wheel of Time, or The Eye of the World. So this is book 1 of The Wheel of Time. Thoroughly enjoying it. I got into it pretty quick. There's a thing that Brandon Sanderson got me into reading, or I got into reading via his books. And I watched some of his like YouTube lecture courses about writing. And I can't remember exactly word for word, but it was something about, like, you know, boy at a farm is called to adventure, blah de blah. And then after he said that, I'm kind of like, I think he was referencing Star Wars, weren't he? But then in a way, it's like, oh, fuck yeah, they're all like that, aren't they? Like with the Mistborn, obviously Vin's like, you know, a street urchin, blah de blah. And then it's this thing of like they've always got. And I will get to this. Sorry, there's a linking point. Oh, there's a lot of dust in here since I made this doorway. Basically, it's just this thing of like, you know, unassuming main character, you know, that is some fucking farmer in poverty or whatever else, you know, like in the Lacana series I read, you know, he's in amongst all these gifted, but he's the only one that is like doing shit and can't use the power properly and blah de blah. So, like, a little bit of me is reading this and seeing it from that kind of structural point of view and kind of going, oh, it's another one of them. But I love it. Like it, I like these fucking epic fantasy ones. Like I love that Rand is there, and it's meant to be Rand, Matt, or is it Perry? Sick. Like it's meant to be one of the three because of the age that they're born and whatnot. Because obviously it starts with they're in their own fucking little village in the spit of fucking nowhere, and then these creatures that they've only heard in stories come and fuck up their town, but specifically like kind of aim for these houses that these three boys are in, but obviously within a certain age. And I like the start, actually. I always like books that have. Do you call it an prologue? Yeah. Oh, I was tempted to read the prologue. You know, I might do. I'll try it, and if I fuck up, I'll just edit this bit out. The palace still shook. The palace still shook occasionally as the earth rumbled in memory, groaned as if it would deny what had happened. Bars of sunlight cast through rents in the wall made motes of dust glitter where they had hung in the air. Scorch marks marred the walls, the floors, the ceilings. Broad black smears crossed the blistered paints and glitter of the once bright murals. Soot overlaying crumbled friezes of men and animals which seemed to have attempted to walk before the madness grew quiet. The dead lay everywhere, men and women and children, struck down in an attempted flight by the lightning that had flashed down every corridor, or seized by the fires that had stalked them, or sunken into the stone of the palace, the stones that had flowed and soared, almost alive before stillness came again. In odd counterpoint, colourful tapestries and paintings, masterful works all hung undisturbed except where the bulging walls and pushed them awry. Sorry. Finally, carved furnishings inlaid with ivory gold stood untouched, kept where rippling floors had toppled them. The mind twisting had struck at the core, ignoring peripheral things. Luce Theron Talamon, I'm shit with names, wondered the palace, deftly keeping his balance when the earth heaved. Elena, my love, where are you? The edge of his pale grey cloak trailed through the blood as he stepped across the body of a woman, her golden-haired beauty marred by the horror of her last moments, her still open eyes frozen in disbelief. Where are you, my wife? Where is everyone hiding? His eyes caught his own reflection in a mirror hanging askew from a bubbled marble. His clothes had been regal once, in grey, scarlet, and gold. Now the finely woven cloth brought by the merchants from across the world sea was torn and dirty, thick with the same dust that covered his hair and skin. For a moment he fingered the symbol on his cloak, a circle half white, half black, the colours separated by a sinuous line. It meant something, that symbol, but the embroidered circle could not hold his attention long. He gazed at his own image with much wonder, a tall man just into his middle years, handsome once, but now with hair already more white than brown and a face lined by strain and worry, dark eyes that had been so much. Luce Therin began to chuckle, then threw his head back in laughter echoed down the lifeless halls. Elena, my love, come to me, my wife, you must see this. Behind him, the air rippled. Shimmered solidified into a man who looked around, his mouth twisting briefly with distaste. Not so tall as Luce. Lews, Luz, Therin. He was clothed all in black, save for the snow-white lace at his throat and the silver work on the turned-down tops of his high boots. He stepped carefully, handling his cloak fastidiously, to avoid brushing the dead. The floor trembled with aftershocks, but his attention was fixed on the man staring in the mirror and laughing. "Lord of the morning," he said, "I have come for you." The laughter cut off as he had the laughter cut off as if it had never been, and Lutherin turned, seeming unsurprised. "Ah, a guest. Have you the voice, stranger? It will soon be time for singing, and all are welcome to take part. Elena, my love, we have a guest. Elena, where are you?" The black clad man's eyes widened, darting to the body of the golden-haired woman, then back to Louis Therin. "Shaitan take you. Does the taint already have you so far in its grip?" The name Shay. Louis Therin shuddered and raised a hand as though warding something off. "You mustn't say that name. It is dangerous." "So you remember that much, at least. Dangerous for you, fool, not for me. What else do you remember? Re- Remember, you light-blinded idiot, or I will not let it end with you swaddled in unawareness. Remember." For a moment, Lutheran stared at his raised hand, fascinated by the patterns of grime. Then he wiped his hand on his even dirtier coat and turned his attention back to the other man. "Who are you? What do you want?" The black-clad man drew himself up arrogantly. "Once I was called Alan Morin, Tedder and I. Tedder and I? Terrible names. But now, betrayer of hope. It was a no, betrayer of hope. It was a whisper from Louis Therin. Memory stirred, but he turned his head, shying away from it. "So you do remember some things?" "Yes, betrayer of hope, some men have named me. Just as they named you dragon. But unlike you, I embraced the name. They gave me the name to revile it, but I will yet make them kneel and worship it. What will you do with your name? After this day, men will call you Kinslayer. What will you do with that?" Lutheran frowned down at the ruined hall. "Elena should be here to offer our guest welcome," he muttered absently, then raised his voice. "Elena, where are you?" The floor shook. The golden-haired woman's body shifted as if to answer his call. His eyes did not see her. Alan Morin grimaced. "Look at you," he said scornfully. "Once you stood first among the servants. Once you wore the ring of Tamberlin and sat at the high seat. Once you summoned the 9 roads of dominion. Now look at you, a pitiful, shattered wretch. But it is not enough. You humbled me in the hall of savants. You defeated me at the gates of Paradisen. But I am the greater now. I will not let you die without knowing that. When you die, your last thought will be the knowledge of your defeat, of how complete and utter it is, if I let you die at all. I cannot imagine what is keeping Elena. She will give me the rough side of her tongue if she thinks I have been hiding a guess from her. I hope you enjoy conversation. She surely does. Be forewarned, Elena will ask you so many questions you may end up telling her everything you know." Tossing back his black cloak, Alain Morin fixed his hands. "A pity for you," he mused, "that one of your sisters is not here. I was never very skilled at healing, and I follow a very different power now. But even one of them could only give you a few lucid minutes, if not, if you did not destroy her first. What I can do will serve as well, for my purposes." His sudden smile was cruel. "But I fear Chatin's healing is different from the sort you know. Be healed, Louis Therin." He extended his hands, and the light dimmed as if it were a shadow that had been laid across the sun. Pain blazed in Louis Therin, and he screamed, a scream that came from the depths, a scream he could not stop. Fire seared his marrow, acid rushed along his veins. He toppled backwards, crashing the marble floor. His head struck the stone and rebounded. His heart pounded, trying to beat the way out of his chest, and every pulse gushed new flame through him. Especially helplessly he convulsed, thrashing, his skull a sphere of purest agony at the point of bursting. His hoarse screams reverberated through the palace. Slowly, ever so slowly, The pain receded. The outflowing seemed to take 1,000 years and left him twitching weakly, sucking breath through a raw throat. Another 1,000 years seemed to pass before he could manage to heave himself over, muscles like jellyfish, and shakily push himself up on his hands and knees. His eyes fell on the golden haired woman, and the scream that was ripped out of him dwarfed every sound he had made before, tottering, almost falling. The scabbled brokenly He scrabbled brokenly across the floor to her. It took every bit of his strength to pull her up into his arms. His hands shook as he smoothed her hair back from her staring face. Elena, like, help me, Elena. His body curved around hers protectively. His sobs, full-throated cries of a man who had nothing left to live for. Elena, no, no. You can have her back, Kinslayer. The great lord of the dark can make her alive again. You will serve him, if you will serve me. Lewis Thurin raised his head, and the black-clad man took an involuntary step back from his gaze. 10 years, betrayer, Lewis Thurin said softly, the soft sound still being barred. 10 years your foul master has racked the world, and now this. I will. 10 years, you pitiful fool! This war has not lasted 10 years, but since the beginning of time. You and I have fought 1,000 battles with the turning of the wheel. 1,000 times we will fight until time dies and the shadow is triumphant. He finished in a shout with a raised fist, and it was Lewis Thurin's turn to pull back, breath catching in the glow of the betrayer's eyes. Carefully, Lewis Thurin laid Elena down, fingers gently brushing her hair. Tears blurred his vision as he stood, but his voice was iced in iron. For what else you have done, there can be no forgiveness, betrayer. But for Elena's death, I will destroy you beyond anything your master can repair. Prepare to remember, you fool. Remember your futile attack on the great lord of the dark. Remember his counterstroke. Remember, even now the 100 companions are tearing the world apart. Yeah. And every day 100 more join them. What hand slew Elena's son? Herr Kinslayer, not mine, not mine. What hand struck down every life you bore a drop of blood? Everyone who loved you, everyone you loved. Not mine, Kinslayer, not mine. Remember, and now the price of opposing Shaitan. Suddenly, sweat made tracks down Lewis Thurin's face. Through the dust and dirt, he remembered. A cloudy memory like a dream of a dream, but he knew it true. His howl beat the walls, the howl of a man who had discovered his soul damned by his own hand. He clawed at his face as if to tear away the sight of what he had done. Everywhere he looked, his eyes found the dead. Torn they were, or broken, or burned, or half consumed by stone. Everywhere lay lifeless faces he knew, faces he loved, old servants and friends of his childhood, faithful companions through the long years of battle, and his children, his own sons and daughters, sprawled like broken dolls, play stilled forever, all slain by his hand. His children's faces accused him, blank eyes asking why, and his tears were no answer. The betrayer's laughter flogged him, drowned out his howls. He could not bear the faces, the pain. He could not bear to remain any longer. Desperately, he reached out to the true source, to tainted Sadin and the travelled. The land around him was flat and empty. A river flowed nearby, straight and broad, but he could sense there was no people within 100 leagues. He was alone as a man could be while still alive. Yet he could not escape memory. The eyes pursued him. Though the endless caverns of his mind, he could not hide from them. His children's eyes, Elena's eyes, tears glistened in his cheeks as he turned to his face to the sky. Light, forgive me. I do not believe I could come forgiveness. Not for what I had done. Sorry, I'll start that bit again. Light, forgive me. He did not believe it would come. Forgiveness, not for what he had done. But he shouted to the sky anyway, begged for what he could not believe he could receive. Light, forgive me. He was still touching Sadin, the male half of the power that drove the universe, that turned the wheel of time, and he could feel the oily taint fouling its surface, the taint of the shadow's counterstroke, the taint that doomed the world, because of him, because in his pride he believed that men could match the Creator, could mend what the Creator had made than they had broken. In his pride he had believed. He drew on the true source deeply, and still more deeply, like a man dying of thirst. Quickly he had drawn more of the one power than he could channel unaided. His skin felt as if it were aflame. Straining, he forced himself to draw more, tried to draw it all. Light, forgive me, Elena. The air turned to fire, and the fire light liquefied. The bolt that struck from the heavens would have seared and blinded any that glimpsed it, even for an instant. From the heavens it came, blazed through Lewis Thurin, bored into the bowels of the earth. Stone turned to a vapour at its touch. The earth thrashed and quivered like a living thing in agony. Only a heartbeat did the shining bar exist, connecting the ground to the sky. But even after it vanished, the earth yet heaved like the sea in a storm. Molten rock founted 500 feet into the air, and the groaning ground rose, thrusting the burning spray ever upward, ever higher from the north to the south, from east to west. The wind howled, snapping trees like twigs, shrieking and blowing as if to aid the growing mountain ever skyward, ever skyward. At last the wind died, the earth stilled to trembling mutters of Lewis Therin. No sign remained. Where he had stood, a mountain now rose miles into the sky, molten lava still gushing from its broken peak. The broad, straight river had pushed into a curve away from the mountain, and there it split to form a long island in its midst. The shadow of the mountain almost reached the island. It lay dark across the land in an ominous hand of prophecy. For all time, the dull, protesting rumbles of the earth were the only sound. On the island, the air shimmered and coalesced. The black-clad man stood staring at the fiery mountain rising out of the plain, his face twisted in rage and contempt. You cannot escape so easily, dragon. It is not done between us. It will be done until the end. It will not be done until the end of time. Then he was gone, and the mountain and the island stood alone, waiting. So yeah, that was the prologue. So yeah, if I kept it in, I've just read through the prologue. If not, like I'm going to kind of talk about it anyway, because obviously it's in the intro. It's just like, no, I will keep it in. Fuck it, because I want to talk about it. Because just that brings you into this thing of like powers and like just epicness, doesn't it? Like, what's the one power? How did he pull it? It said that it was more of the one power that could do unaided, which means could he usually possibly do more aided sort of thing. What? How exactly was he pushed to kill his own fucking kin? And like, obviously, that the Kinslayer, like, is just a fucking great name for a character. And it's like the guy that was there obviously isn't like the main bad, like, god fucking being. It's obviously like his right hand man, it seems, doesn't it? Then obviously it creates that thing of like, oh, now the mountain's there where it didn't stood before. So obviously it's just like a prophecy, isn't it? It's like, right, okay, so he was there. He was obviously immense with power and whatnot. He alluded to like he said like in his pride he felt like he could fix the world or whatever was broken. So then obviously it's kind of like, right, okay, so are we going to get, because then it goes straight to the farm, which is what I was talking about before. So it goes to the unexpected, guy on a farm, call to adventure. So is he going to be this dragon reborn? Is he going to be able to fix what Lutheran attempted to fix but fucked up? You know what I mean? And then we're at a point now in the story at chapter 15 where, so yeah, I'm not trying to do a review, am I? Right, calm yourself. I'm just enjoying it, right? Okay. So, the fancy lady that's got fucking powers, she's come to the town. She saved them from these Colocs, which were like these beasts that attacked. She just went, right, you three boys, they're after you. They've gone off on like a journey to get to this like big city sort of thing. But basically saying it could be one of you, could be something that they're after, but she hasn't exactly explained what. But now we're at a point where the main character Rand has had like these two dreams that don't feel like dreams. And in the one at the end of chapter 14, he's basically came face to face with this Sadin by the looks of it. So now obviously I'm at a point where it's like, what's going to happen when he gets to this like main city where all these women are that are allowed to use the power? Like, because when they get false dragons appear, I think I'm right in saying like basically they get to them and fucking kill them because they say it was the men that could hold the power that broke the world. So only these women are allowed to access the power. So it's like, oh, they're going to find out it's him and then try and kill him off. Or, you know what I mean? And then his love interest is tagged along and she's training to be an Ascendai. How the fuck do you pronounce that? I'm terrible with like fantasy names. Aescedai. I'm just going to call him the Sedai. Sedi. I'm not going to call him anything. I'm just going to read it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, chapter 15, I'm through it. I'm feeling like this book will end with it being like, yeah, he's the dude. And we'll get some more alluding to what he needs to do or what he's aiming to. Obviously, there's 15 books. So I'm not imagining a big payoff at the end of this. Maybe like just enough to get into the next book and obviously want to carry on. So yeah, if you're reading The Wheel of Time or recently started reading The Wheel of Time, I want to know, because that's the point of these videos. I'm going to be careful with the comments in case people try and do spoilers for me. I'm going to get the wife to read the comments for me first, if there's any comments. It'd be nice if there was, because that's the point of this video series. I want this to be a book club. So, yes, like I was saying, if you're reading The Wheel of Time, recently started it, if you're reading book 1, or, if, you know, just jump in the comments, let us know what, up to chapter 15 of the first book, what your thoughts and feelings are, where it's going. No spoilers for people. I want these videos to be up to like where I've said, so for the people that are starting, because it'd be nice if someone's like even watches this video and goes, you know, I'm going to start reading it. I'd be a bit fucked up because everything I've just said, maybe. So yeah, if we say I'll do another video at chapter 30, I'll do another 15. So then if someone's reading it, they can get to chapter 30 and then they can come to the next video, like, to see what I thought, and then we can share thoughts and whatnot. Like, that's the idea. That's what I'm hoping. And all this is going to get redone, by the way, my display and whatnot, because I'm actually going to be building an extension to this studio out into my garden as well. So over the probably next few months of videos on the channel overall, because I do a lot on this channel, this is all going to get redone and changed, because I can't have my display back in be a fucking doorway, can I? I can't have that conservatory propaganda. Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I shall see you in the next video.